Hi, today for you now book reading. Role of hormones in reproduction. Primary hormones, that means first hormones. What is the function? Regulate reproduction. Regulate reproduction. Or the steroids. Steroids means glands such as androgens, estrogens and progesterone. These are glands. Androgen means male reproductive glands, estrogen and progesterone female reproductive glands, which have masculinizing, feminizing and gestational effects respectively. Masculinizing means muscles will develop. Feminizing, that means the female reproductive glands, that means the hip broadens, that and all. Gestational effects respectively, that secondary sexual characteristic respectively. These hormones are secreted from the gonads. Where it is secreted? From the gonads. Okay. Which are regulated by the anterior pituitary. These are the glands which is secreted by which part? Gonads. From the gonads, which are regulated by the anterior pituitary, that means adenohypophysis. Adenohypophysis, that means anterior pituitary, otherwise called adenohypophysis. Okay, in male and female reproductive behavior and reproduction are mainly under the control of LH and FSH. LH one of the hormone and FSH also one of the hormones. LH abbreviation luteinizing hormones. Luteinizing hormones. FSH follicle stimulating hormones. FSH means follicle stimulating hormones. Okay. These two glands, which two glands? Glands otherwise called what? Hormones. LH and FSH. These two are controlled by reproductive glands. These two also controlled by reproductive glands. Okay. LH stimulates the testes. LH means luteinizing hormone. Secrete the which one? Testes to produce androgens. That means one of the glands I said no. Male reproductive organs. That one androgens. That one glands. One of the male reproductive glands. Which one? Androgen. The male sex hormone. That one is called androgens. LH stimulates. Luteinizing hormone stimulate which one? Testes. To produce what? Androgens. This one is called male sex hormones. Next, sperms are then actively produced. The hormone androgen produced after sperms are then actively produced. In man, sperm production starts at sexual puberty and may continue throughout his life. Which time starts? That puberty time. In male, sperm production, that means sperm means that one male sexual glands, hormones, otherwise called hormones. The sperm production starts at sexual puberty. Puberty time starts and may continue throughout his life. Throughout his life, LH hormone, otherwise male reproductive hormone secrete. Sperm is the male reproductive organ. Okay. Male reproductive organ, which hormone secrete? Androgen secrete. That secrete androgen hormones. Next, we see that follicle stimulating hormones, FSH. That one female. Already we saw LH means luteinizing hormone. That one what? Male hormone. FSH means female reproductive hormone. Follicle stimulating hormones, that means FSH. Where it is present? It is present in the female influences the development of the Graafian follicle and secretion of estrogens. Estrogens which glands? That one female reproductive glands. In the male, it is necessary for the development of seminiferous tubules and for spermatogenesis. Seminiferous tubules and for spermatogenesis. FSH hormone, what purpose that one secreted? That Graafian follicles, that one. Which one secreted? Estrogen secreted. In the male also, FSH hormone necessary, important. What is the function? Development of seminiferous tubules and for spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis means, what do you mean by spermatogenesis? The sperm mature is called spermatogenesis. Matured sperm is called spermatogenesis. Next, luteinizing hormone, LH. In the female, it is a hormone necessary for ovulation. LH hormone, already we saw that one. Male reproductive glands, androgen secreted. Androgens secreted in that LH. And FSH, female hormone. This one necessary for LH and FSH present both in male and female. Here we see, in the female, it is the hormone necessary for ovulation. Which hormone? LH hormones. And secretion of the luteal hormone, progesterone. Luteal hormone, what? Progesterone. That one, progesterone hormone. What purpose that progesterone hormone? For milk secretion. Okay. And for the final maturation of the Graafian follicles. In the male, it stimulates the industrious Leydig cells of testes and the secretion of testosterones. In that, which one? LH hormone. What purpose? Testosterone. Androgen or otherwise called testosterones, and is referred to as industrial cells stimulating hormones, that means ICSH, industrial cells, interstitial cell stimulating hormone, otherwise called ICH. ICH, okay. Next we discuss about estrogen. Is not a single hormone but a collection of related steroids hormones. That means so many glands present in that estrogen. This is not a single hormone but a collection of related steroids means what? So many glands present in that estrogen. Next we discuss about prolactin or lactogenic hormones. PRL, prolactin, otherwise called PRL, or this one, PRL what? That one, prolactin hormones. Prolactin, that abbreviation, PRL abbreviation, prolactin, or prolactin otherwise called lactogenic hormone. What is the main function? The main function of this hormone is milk secretion. Milk secretion for what? During lactation. Lactation means feeding period. Okay, the main function what? Prolactin, otherwise called lactogenic hormones. That one, PRL. Prolactin means PRL. What is the main function? Main function for milk secretion during lactation period. Lactation means feeding period. Oxytocin hormone. Next, oxytocin hormones. Oxytocin hormones, what is the function for oxytocin? Causes expulsion of milk, that means outcome of milk from the breast, and it also involved in the contraction of smooth muscles of uterus during childbirth. Contraction, that means surungirathu. Already how it is having? Muscles will elaborate. After the delivery, want to contract the muscles. So, oxytocin hormones help for contraction of smooth muscles of uterus during childbirth. On the childbirth time, contraction of what? Smooth muscles of uterus. Okay, oxytocin hormones. Next, reproductive phase of life in human. Reproduction is more important for the continuation of human race. all the organisms, all living organisms reproduce for their young ones. For what purpose? Continuation of human race, continuation of life cycle. The phase in an individual life during which there is production of gametes is called reproductive phase. In females, the reproductive phase of life in females, the reproductive phase of life begins at puberty. Which time begins? Puberty time, 10 to 12 years of age, and generally lasts till the age of approximately 45 to 50 years. The male reproductive glands, that one produced which time? 10 to 12 years of age. Which time end? Approximately 45 to 50 years. And in males, it is from the age of 13 to lifelong. Male 10 years only started, but which time end? 45 to 50 years. But in male, 13 years only started. Which years end? Lifelong. Throughout their life cycle, they produce their male sex hormones, androgens. So, the reproductive age may vary from person to person. The reproductive age may vary from person to person, and also that genital characters that also influence the genital characters also influence the reproductive age. The following are the reproductive phases in the life of a female. What are the reproductive phases? Menarche and menopause. Let us discuss one by one. Okay. First one, menarche. The first menstrual flow begins at puberty. The first menstrual flow at which time flow? Begins at puberty time and is termed menarche. Which one termed menarche? The first menstrual flow. That one is called menarche. The ova begins to mature with the onset of puberty. It is the beginning of adolescence. Which one beginning of adolescence? The menarche period is the beginning of adolescence, during which mental and emotional maturation occurs. In that time, mental and emotional maturation also occurs, and physical growth becomes pronounced. And physical growth also becomes pronounced. That means the body will become round in shape, girls round in shape, and also hip broadens. That only physical growth becomes pronounced. Next we discuss about ovulation. What is mean by ovulation? Ovulation occurs approximately 14 days before the next ovarian cycle commences. That means on menstrual cycle 28 days. Okay. That one here what mentioned ovulation. Ovulation means the releasing of egg from the uterus. That one ovulation. Which time starts? Approximately 14 days before the next ovarian cycle commences. Next ovarian cycle commences. Thus, in a 28 day cycle, ovulation occurs about 14 days. 28 day cycles, first 14 days, next ovarian cycles, that ovulation occurs. And then next 14 days, ovulation occurs about day 14. The ovum matures and is released by one of the ovaries. Ovum means egg. Here ovum means egg. One ovum mature. Only one egg only matures and is released by one of the ovaries once in about 28 to 30 days. So this one period time 28 to 30 days. That time only the ovaries mature, come out from the ovum mature, come out from the ovary. The release of ovum from the ovary is called ovulation. What do you mean by ovulation? The release of ovum, that means egg. The release of egg from the ovary is called ovulation. During this period, which period? The ovulation period. The wall of the uterus become thick. During this period, the wall of the uterus become thick so as to receive the fertilized egg. This result in pregnancy. What purpose the wall of the uterus become thick? Receive the fertilized egg purpose. Okay, this result in pregnancy. Okay, what do you mean by pregnancy? Next we discuss about pregnancy. After ovulation, the ovum reaches the fallopian tube and fertilization takes place. After ovulation, that means the mature eggs come out from the ovary and reach the fallopian tube. That place fertilization takes place. Fertilization means karvurudal. Fertilization takes place. This is only called pregnancy. The fertilized egg undergoes development and it is implanted in the uterus. The fertilized egg come out from the ovary, no? That one where it is implanted? In the uterus. The corpus luteum continues to grow and produces a large amount of progesterone. That means female reproductive hormones. This results in pregnancy. Normally it lasts for 280 days. How much pregnancy period? 280 days. At the end, which parturition takes place. And which end with parturition takes place. That one, the baby will become grow. Matured baby will come out from the ovary. That one, from the where? Uterus. Where it is present. The matured baby present in the uterus. After maturation, it won't come out from the uterus. How much time for pregnancy period? 280 days. Next we discuss about menstruation. Menstruation. If the ovum is not fertilized, that means the ovum not fertilized in the where? The corpus luteum begins to degenerate and the production of hormones, progesterone and estrogen ceases. The unfertilized eggs and the thickened lining of the uterus along with its blood vessels are shed off. This causes bleeding in women's reproductive tract, which is called menstruation. What we discuss here? If the ovum is not fertilized, one egg come out from the ovary. That only ovum. Ovum means egg. Is not fertilized. What will happen? The corpus luteum begins to degenerate. And the production of hormone, progesterone and estrogen, both also what? Female reproductive hormone. The unfertilized egg, that means the egg not fertilized. What happened? The thickened lining of the uterus along with its blood vessels are set off. So only the thickened lining of uterus, no, along with set off which one? Blood vessels. This only causes bleeding in woman. Bleeding in woman's reproductive tract, which is called menstruation. Menstruation occurs once in about 28 to 30 days. 28 to 30 days. How many days occurs? 28 to 30 days. How much they long? It takes about 3 to 5 years. 28 to 30 days menstruation. It takes about 3 to 5 days. In some cases, initially menstrual cycle may be irregular. Once menstrual cycle, how many days will come? 28 to 30 days. But in some cases, that means yearly men attend puberty child, no, that one menstrual cycle may be irregular. It takes some time to become regular. After 1 year, otherwise 6 months after, it may be regular. If it remains irregular for over a year, then it is better to consult a doctor. That one attend the puberty after. It may be regular means we want to wait for 1 year. If that after 1 year also that one irregular means we want to consult a doctor. Next, menopause. Menopause marks the end of the reproductive phase of woman's cycle. Menstruation is the first puberty stage. Menopause is the end of the reproductive phase of a woman's life at age 45 to 50 years of age. Which time that one starts? Menopause period 45 to 50 years. The menstrual cycle stops. That one is called menopause. Stoppage of menstruation is termed as menopause. Stoppage of menstruation is termed as menopause. During menopause, psychological symptoms such as anxiety, irritability, fatigue, and loss of concentration may occur. What are the feelings will come? Menopause period, psychological symptoms. What one? Anxiety, கோபப்படுவாங்க, எதுக்கு எடுத்தாலும் எரிச்சல் படுவாங்க. Fatigue, some person will fat in size, and concentration also lost their concentration. So next, menopause may be induced by surgical removal of the ovaries. If the menopause continuously come, that means bleeding overly come means what will doing? Surgical removal of the ovaries or by pelvic irritations in a woman of any age. If continuous bleeding come means removal of the ovaries. Otherwise, the pelvic irritations in a woman of any age. The pelvic girdle becomes very weak in stage. Will come in any one age. Okay. Next. Nowadays, girls attain puberty at very early age. This is due to food habits, as you eat lot of junk food. What do you mean by junk food? Pasta. Junk food means what? Noodles, pasta, and then pizza, burger, this and all. The body growth increases and it looks like adult. So, what is the reason? Reason for early attain puberty? Food habits only, and also general character also will come. Next we discuss about menstrual cycle. What do you mean by menstrual cycle? The period that 1 to 28 days, what will happen in the uterus, that only menstrual cycle. The beginning of the menstrual cycle marks the onset of puberty in human females. The menstrual cycles begins with the casting of an endometrial lining of the uterus, and the casting of endometrium can be considered as periodic preparation for pregnancy. Menstruation occurs if an ovum released by the ovary of a woman is not fertilized during ovulation. This is described below. What we described below? Regularly the menstrual cycle followed means the lady will not pregnant. Otherwise, the lady will pregnant. Okay, that only here mentioned. Menstruation occurs if an ovum released by the ovary of a woman is not fertilized during ovulation. Okay. When a girl reaches puberty at the age of about 10, the sex hormones released into her blood cause some of the ova, that means egg cells, in her ovaries to become mature or ripe. Ripe na palukkuradhu, otherwise called mature. Okay. Which time the puberty time? Which one come? The egg will come from the uterus about 10 years. Ovaries to become mature. Usually, what will happen? Usually, one mature ovum, that means egg. Ovum means egg. Already we discussed, no? Usually, one mature ovum is released from one of the ovaries into the oviduct once in about every 28 days. This is called ovulation. 1 month, one egg only released 28 to 30 days. This only called ovulation. That means the egg release out from the ovary. That one is called what? Ovulation. Before ovulation or release of ovum, what will happen? Before ovulation or release of ovum, the inner wall of uterus become thick. The uterus wall become thick and spongy and full of tiny blood vessels. That one is called blood vessels, otherwise called blood capillaries. It prepares itself to receive the fertilized ovum. Release out the which one? Fertilized ovum. If the ovum does not get fertilized, then the thick and soft inner lining of the uterus is no longer needed and hence it's break. So the thick and soft inner lining of uterus along with the blood vessels and the dead ovum comes out from the vagina in the form of a bleeding called menstruation. If the ovum does not get fertilized, what will happen? The blood vessels and the dead ovum come out from the vagina in the form of the bleeding called menstruation. That one is called menstruation. Here you see the menstrual cycle. This one menstrual cycle. It has 4 phases. That means 4 stages. How many takes it to complete? 28 days only completed. Okay. 1 to 5 days, what happened? Uterine lining breaks down, menstruation occurs. Uterine lining means that uterus lining breaks down, menstruation occurs in 1 to 5 days. 6 to 10 days, uterine lining thickens again. And then 11 to 18 days, ovulation occurs usually on day 14. Ovulation means the mature ovum come out from the ovary. Which day? 14th day. This one in the 3rd phase. And then last phase 19 to 28 days. Uterine lining continues to thicken and then come out from the bleeding. This only menstrual cycle. It can be divided into 4 phases. 1 to 5 days, 1 phases. Another 6 to 10 days, another 1 phases. 11 to 18 days, 3rd phases. 19 to 28 days, 4th phases. How many days it occurs? The menstrual cycles occurs 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days only. Okay, next we discuss about menstruation occurs 14 days after ovulation. Usually lasts for about 3 to 5 days. That means the menstrual period, how many days? 3 to 5 days only. After menstruation is over, the inner lining of the uterus starts building up again. Uterus start building up again so that it may become ready to receive the next ovum. Why this one thicken? For want to receive the next ovum. 7th point, if the ovum does not get fertilized even now, then maturation takes place again. Ovum does not get fertilized means the menstrual cycle followed. So, then menstruation takes place again. The cycle of menstruation is repeated again and again in women. After every 28 days, the menstrual cycle is controlled by hormones. Which one controlled? The menstrual cycle controlled by hormones only. All the process controlled by hormones only. The menstrual cycle also controlled by hormones only. Menstruation stops temporarily when the ovum gets fertilized and the woman gets pregnant. Which time stops menstruation? The ovum gets fertilized. Woman gets pregnant. That time only the menstruation stops. This is because in this case the thick and soft lining of the uterus containing lot of blood vessels is needed for the growth and development of the fertilized ovum to form a baby. Fertilized ovum to form a baby. What purpose? Containing lot of blood vessels present in the ovary. Why means needed for the growth and development of the fertilized ovum to converted into a baby, to form a baby. Menstruation restarts after the birth of the baby. Menstruation also stops due to nutritional deficiency, low body weight and eating disorder. That means what purpose the menstruation stop? Some reasons: nutritional deficiency, low body weight, stress, nutritional deficiency, low body weight, stress, eating disorder, excessive weight gain. This all the one the menstrual cycle does not follow regularly. Irregular period, that only. What is the causes? Nutritional deficiency, low body weight, stress, eating disorders and then excessive weight gain also cause for which one? Menstrual disorder, irregular period. Next, answer the following. First question, explain menarche. The first menstrual flow begins at puberty and is termed menarche. To mature with the onset of puberty, this one is called menarche. The first flow of the first menstrual flow begins at puberty and is termed menarche. The ova begin to mature with the onset of puberty. First menstrual cycle is called menarche. Which time that puberty started? The ova begin to mature with the onset of puberty time only. The ovum get matured. Next question, second question. Explain the process of pregnancy. After ovulation, the ovum reaches the fallopian tube and fertilization takes place. The ovum reaches the where? Fallopian tube. That place only which one takes place? Fertilization takes place. So, the fertilized egg undergoes development and it is implanted. That means, implanted means what? That positions in the uterus. Implanted means that one position in the uterus. That one grow in the uterus. The corpus luteum continues to grow and produces large amount of progesterone. That means female reproductive hormones. This results in pregnancy. This only results in pregnancy. Next, explain the third question. Importance of cleanliness during. Explain the importance of cleanliness during time of menstrual cycle in girls. Girls should take special care of cleanliness during the time of menstrual cycle. Why? Making use of napkins or tampons may reduce chances of infection. Why? Why the girls cleanliness during the menstrual cycle important means we want to save ourselves. We want to save from diseases. Okay. Next, answer in detail. Explain the role of hormones in reproduction. What is the role for hormone in reproduction? First point. Primary hormones that regulate reproduction are the steroids, such as androgens, estrogens and progesterone. This means one of the glands. So, what are the glands? Androgen, male reproductive hormone, estrogen and progesterone, female reproductive hormone. These hormones are secreted from the gonads, it is regulated by the anterior pituitary. Both male LH luteinizing hormone and female FSH follicle stimulating hormones reproduction are mainly under the control of which one? Hormones only. All the activities controlled by hormones only. LH. In male, it is stimulated in the industrial cells of testes and the secretion of testosterone. LH present in both FSH and LH present in both male and female. But LH in the male, what come? Testes will produce in the testosterones. Okay, next FSH. In the male, it is necessary for the development of seminiferous tubules and for spermatogenesis. Next we discuss about PRL. PRL means prolactin. Its main functions milk secretion during lactation period. Prolactin, which function? Function for milk secretion. Which time? During lactation period. Next, oxytocin. It causes the expulsion of milk from the breast and it is involved in the contraction of smooth muscles of the uterus during childbirth. Next detailed question. Briefly describe the menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle. When a girl reaches puberty at the age of about 10, the sex hormones released into her blood cause some of the ova in her ovaries to become mature. Usually one mature ovum is released from one of the ovary. How many days? Oviduct. Once in every 28 days. This is called ovulation. Before ovulation, the inner wall of the uterus become thick and spongy and full of tiny blood vessels. Next, if the ovum does not get fertilized, then the thick and soft inner lining of the uterus is no longer needed and hence it breaks. Menstruation usually occurs 14 days after ovulation and usually lasts for about 3 to 5 days. After menstruation is over, the inner lining of the uterus starts building up again, so it may become ready to receive the next ovum. If the ovum does not get fertilized even now, the menstruation takes place again. The menstrual cycle is controlled by hormones only. Already we discussed, no, the menstrual cycle, all the activity in human beings controlled by which one? Hormones only. Here menstrual cycle also controlled by hormones only. Next assignment. First question, explain menarche. Second question, explain the process of pregnancy. Third question, explain the importance of cleanliness during time of menstrual cycle. Next, fourth question, explain the role of hormones in reproduction. Fifth question, briefly describe the menstrual cycle. I hope you understood this class. The remaining part will continue in the next class. Thank you, dears. Do well. Thank you.